Ay, 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 dum. Ya, 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 ay, ya, 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 dum. Ya, da, 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 da. Yada da 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 yidam yada da da yada yada da da yada da 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 yada da 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 ya 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 ay ya da da ya 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 ay, 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 ay. Yabba, ya, ya, ya. Yada, da, 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 ya, da. Ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 da. Yabba, ya, ya, ya. Boker Tov, good morning. Sorry for the delayed start this morning. Ellis's school had a delay last week when we had actual snow in the morning. There was no delay. The next time there was, and here we are again with another delay. So here we are, 30 minutes late. May not be conducive to many of your schedules, and so maybe you'll watch later on. But nevertheless, we continue to show up for one another. On this week's Torah reading, and we spoke about this on Monday, Yitro, Moses' father-in-law, and the pagan priest of Midian, heard what God did for Moses and the Israelites. And so he took Moses' wife and 2 sons, and he brings them to Moses in the wilderness. There's this passionate reunion, and Moses shared with Yitro this whole story of how the Lord was the language, but how God rescued the Hebrews, or the Jews, from bondage of Pharaoh in Egypt. And so Yitro rejoiced, saying, "Blessed be the Lord." Now, I know that the Lord is greater than all gods. This is Yitro saying. Yitro then makes these sacrifices to God, and everyone feasted. It was like, though Yitro was a pagan priest of Midian, wasn't a Jew, he could rejoice in the merit, the fortune of another person. There are some of us, I don't even want to say many of us because I'm not sure. There are some of us who can truly be happy for another person. There are ones that feel happy for another person from their own perspective, maybe selfishness, maybe not. And there are others that fall in this place of jealousy or comparison of self. But Yitro was this man who said, Moses' father-in-law, but this man who was able to see that Moses and the Jewish people were given a blessing, a gift to get out, to be freed, to escape, as it were, the exodus from Egypt under Pharaoh's ruling. And so he offered, nowadays we don't offer things on the altar, and he did it in his own way, but offering we still do, in the forms of tzedakah, in the forms of, monetary donation, and also showing up for whatever the cause is. So the next day, Yitro watches Moses settle disputes between people. "Why do you sit as the judge, Moses?" while the people stand all about you morning to night. And Moses says, because the people come to me to seek God, I decide between man and his neighbor and make known the laws of God. Yitro says, but that's not right. You'll tire yourself out and the people out. Now heed my voice. I'll advise you. I'm the elder. Listen to me. You be a representative to God and teach the people of the path that God seeks from them. Don't you like when your printer just starts printing? But you're not printing anything? Must be Emma. Anyway, sorry for the noise in the background. You be the representative, teach them the way, and they'll figure it out. Then you find capable people, men, of course it says, who fear God, and trustworthy men who don't have any need or reason to gain from this position. They will decide on the minor disputes and bring the major ones to you. In other words, delegate some work. You don't need to do it all. Let the low-lying fruit take care of the small things. And when it gets too difficult, they'll bring it to you. You'll deal with those. This is the passing of sacred legacy, the passing of wisdom, the guidance that we have received from our ancestors from years and years and years and years and years and forever ago. Tonight also begins Tu B'Shvat. When we think about legacy and stewardship, that's the weirdest word, steward. I want to say steward, like the name. Stewardship. The story of Choni, the circle maker, immediately comes to mind. Passing of wisdom. We do not know our ancestors. We only know, I mean, we know some of them, like the last generations, but we don't know our ancestors. We only know their legacy. We only know the passing of the story. It's like the game of telephone, which kids never get, and then all of a sudden it becomes so hysterically funny. We only know what we know because somebody told us, because we read it somewhere, because there's things that date back, but not all the way back. It's not the same as living in it. But Choni, the circle maker, tradition reminds us of this story of the carob tree and planting for generations yet to be. It reminds us of the importance of planting seeds of meaning, watering them for growth, branching out against injustice, and seeking the justice that people, especially the youth, especially the marginalized, especially us as Jews in the world, and of course the generations yet to be. For centuries, wisdom and values have been passed down from sages, from tradition, from those that crossed the paths both in the past and in the present. Like Moses, Moshe, learning from his father-in-law, Yitro. So many talk about this Torah portion year after year, and it's always about the lessons of delegation, learning how to lighten the load. But if we look a little bit deeper, we see the wisdom is in really what we learn from those around us. And when we learn from those around us, we process, we digest, we find our own meaning in what we're observing, what we're feeling, what we're touching, seeing, smelling, what we're learning. And those that share their wealth of wisdom, their lifelong lessons, where they find meaning in their lives and what they do, then we are the beneficiaries that can do the work, that can carry it out. You take all of what you've heard, and some of it makes sense, and some of it's so antiquated, and some of it is eye-opening, and some of us is mind-blowing, and some of it is a way for us to pivot our own thoughts, or maybe the way we look at things. And then we can carry out what matters most. That's the connection of our souls, from one soul to the next. The collective soul, the collective heartbeat of humanity. As we move closer toward Shabbat, let us challenge ourselves to search, to remember, to recall a single sacred teaching about life from someone outside ourselves. We always think we know what's best for us, but dig deeper than that. The passing of sacred legacy, the passing of wisdom, the guidance, the guiding, what we hold on to and what we deem significant in life should be good enough, significant enough to pass on to another, regardless of the generations to come, but the generation of now. My hope is that it will be something along the common thread of love and concern for one another, toward bettering our world, toward healing, toward hope, toward understanding, because we are left in this place where we are scratching our heads. There's so many things going on in the world. There's so many things going on in our Jewish world. There's so many things going on in our own heads and hearts that feel kind of like being in one of those simulators that are like a hurricane or a tornado, where you're left gasping for breath because you need to like reset yourself, because the wind comes in and the vortex is like taking over your life. But step out of that. Step out of it so that you can look at it with clear eyes, with different perspective, with new vision. To say, what am I doing here? What have I learned from another that's worth sharing with another? What is it that I've heard that I know that I can take as a springboard to propel myself forward? It's going to allow me to bring about betterment for self and collectively. I challenge you to search, to remember, to recall. And I challenge you to share it with us, with another, whatever it is. Maybe when we gather on Shabbat, we can put in the chat what we may want to share that we've learned along the way. Because together is the way we do this work. Thank you for joining me today, this morning, Paula, Jenna, Lita, Rabbi Jay, Linda, Elisa, whoever will watch at other times. As we remind ourselves, we're one human family, one heart of abundant love. We love you, and we continue to show up for one another. We'll be back here tomorrow morning, of course, at 9:30. Ms. Brock-Leon, we welcome you. Please accept our heartfelt condolence as a group here. But of course, I look forward to seeing you. Not for a funeral, but I do look forward to that good hug that I know that we will share. Martine, Boker Tov, good morning. Thanks for being here with us. Let us remind ourselves, Am Yisrael Chai, we are the people. We are the Jewish people, and we will live. Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael, Am Yisrael Chai. 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 Od Avinu Chai.